All right, thank you for watching. This is going to be a short little video, kind of an introduction to inequalities, inequality equations. So equations that have inequalities in them instead of an equal sign, we're using inequality symbols. Um, so what are the symbols? Now as a teacher, I have a preference of I like the variables on the left side when solving equations. So I like my students to get the variable on the left side and the numbers on the right side. So x equals 2, or in this case, x is less than 2, or x is greater than 2. So if we go through these symbols, what do these symbols mean? Well, this symbol, and I like to think of this as an arrow. I know there's like the whole alligator eats the blah, 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 whatever. I just think about it as an arrow. So if the arrow is pointing towards the x, then it is less than. So if the arrow is pointing towards the variable, it is less than. If the arrow is pointing away from the variable, it is greater than. You might see some people say or more than, greater than, more than, both the same. Now again, we have an arrow pointing towards the variable, but there's also a little dash below it. So this is less than or equal to. So less than or equal to, okay? If I can find the correct marker for this one. Okay, so this one is pointing away from the variable, so it's greater than, and the little dash below it is greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to. Okay, now this is an open circle and this is a closed circle, and that will have to do with graphing. But what's important, if you're taking notes, is that when it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, when you're graphing, you put a closed circle because it includes, it can be equal to, so it includes the number. And then when it's less than or greater than, it's an open circle because it does not include it. It cannot be that number. It's either less than that number or greater than that number, but it is not that number. So let's get into some examples. So changing inequalities into phrases or the sentences that represent them. So this symbol is a less than or equal to. So the sentence form of this would be x is less than or equal to 3, period. And that's it. So x is less than or equal to 3. X less than or equal to 3. All right, and it's less than because the arrow is pointing towards the variable. This one would be x is greater than -3. Not greater than or equal to because there's no dash below it. And it's also greater than because it is pointing away from the variable. All right, or it's, oh, don't yawn. Long day, sorry guys. Whoever's watching this video. Greater than because it's opening towards the x, okay? It's opening towards the x, or it's pointing away. It's however you remember it. If you like the alligator thing, do the alligator thing. I don't know it. That's not how I was taught. This one, now this one is a little bit tricky because this one I don't like. The variable is not on the left side, so how I would actually do this is I would rewrite this as n is greater than or equal to -4. I would put the variable on the left side. Now, very important, if you rewrite it, keep the symbol pointing the direction that it was pointing this whole time. Right here, the arrow is pointing towards the -4. When I rewrote it, it's still pointing towards the -4. And now I can see a is greater than or equal to -4. So n, I almost just did the greater than symbol, is greater than or equal to -4, period. All right, don't mind my slash. I was about to just rewrite the inequality. I don't know why. And then this one is B is greater than or equal to 2.2, period. Now it's really important. Notice that I did not capitalize this X. I did not capitalize that X. I didn't capitalize this N or this B. Even though they're the first thing in a sentence, I did not capitalize them because in the inequality, they're not capital B's. That's not a capital N. It's okay to put, because in this case, this isn't a letter B. This is a variable B. All right, so you don't need to capitalize it, because if you capitalize it, then it's no longer talking about this lowercase b in the inequality. It's lowercase b. And in reality, if I was to type this, I'd actually make that an italicized lowercase b, just to really symbolize that it's a variable from the inequality equation. Okay, so those are some sentence forms. Really important that you have maybe a note by if you do not have memorized the less than and greater than symbols. But yeah, so let's move on to this now. The three things that you should be able to do, or I guess the two things, but from any inequality, you should be able to find the equation, the graph, the sentence. So if you're given the inequality, the equation form of it, you should be able to graph it. And if I was to graph this, 0, and then -1, -2, -3, -4, and then 1, 2, 3. So if I was to graph this, all right, open or close circle. Now, based off of these notes in the beginning, if I have a greater than symbol, it is a closed circle because it includes the number. So we're going to include -4. So I'm going to put a closed circle above -4. Now it's greater than, so n is greater than or equal to -4. So greater than means more positive. So we're going to get more positive. Greater than means more positive. So there's the graph. Well, I should also be able to write the sentence. So I have the equation, I have the graph. Now I should also be able to write the sentence. And the sentence is n is greater than, greater or equal to, greater than, greater or equal to. I want to put then, greater than or equal to -4, period. N is greater than or equal to -4. All right. This one I'm given the graph. Okay, well, it's an open circle, so let's just go with X. And it's an open circle, so, or it's going to be either a less than or greater than. We're not going to have the little dash because it's an open circle. And it's getting more negative. More negative means less. So more negative means less. And less than what? Well, it's less than 2. So there is the equation. All right, the inequality. Now, what are we going to do from here? Well, now we're going to write the sentence. So in this case, instead of an n, we're going to do an x because I use the variable x. X is less than 2, period. That's it. X is less than 2. All right. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now we have W. Now we have the sentence, and we should be able to get the graph and the equation from this. So W is greater than -3. So W is greater than -3. All right. And the graph of this, 0 here, -1, -2, -3, -4, 1, 2, 4. So we're going to put an open or a closed circle. Well, there's no dash, so it should be an open circle. So we're going to put open circle above -3. Now it's greater than. Greater than means becoming more positive. So we're going to get more positive. All right. So there's the graph. So those are the three things you should be able to do. All right. You should be able to get the equation from a sentence or a graph. You should be able to get the sentence or the graph from an equation, and you should be able to get the sentence and equation from a graph. So I don't know if I repeated any of those. I have no idea. I just said way too much. The point is you should be able to graphically represent an inequality. You should be able to write the equation of an inequality, and you should be able to write the sentence form of an inequality. Okay. Now I have a little bit of notes left down here that I was saying when doing the graphs. Less than means towards negative, less positive, and greater than means more positive. Some students, it's okay to just memorize it as if it's greater than, it's to the right on the number line. If it's less than, it's to the left on the number line. But right means more positive, left means less positive, or in that case, more negative. Yeah, I do hope that video was helpful. I hope you liked my little tiny, I was going for, I don't know if this is an owl or a penguin, but yeah, it's my little doodle, my little penguin dude. Yeah, let's call him, his name's going to be Dude. Dude the penguin, okay, or Dude the owl, I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I do hope it was helpful. I know it was pretty short, quick. Thank you for watching.